We got a lot of drama stirred up between Oklahoma and Temple. Long rivals, the storied rivalry that is Oklahoma versus Temple. Now, I'm just kidding, but we got some drama. We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, we got a little bit of hot mic drama. We got hot mic gate that has occurred between Oklahoma and Temple during Brent Venables' weekly press conference, or just before the weekly press conference. There were some Oklahoma media that were just discussing what the environment was going to be like up there in Philadelphia. They play at the Lincoln Financial Stadium, where the Philadelphia Eagles play, holds something like 80,000 in capacity. And so the discussion was like, okay, what's it going to look like when Oklahoma goes to play there? What do you think the capacity or the attendance is going to be? Are they going to have to tarp off the upper section? Blah, 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 blah. Well, that got picked up. People heard it. I'm not sure how people heard it. I had to turn my volume way up on the recording to be able to hear what was actually said. And so people were really like digging deep for something or anything. I don't know. But yeah, apparently this has ruffled feathers all the way from Temple fans to Temple players, I guess, to Philadelphia media, to also Casey Keeler, the Temple head coach. Was discussing it with Paul Posluszny, the former Penn State linebacker.
Yeah, he was actually on with Gabe and Teddy yesterday. I haven't got the chance to watch the episode yet, so I'll be doing that this morning when I go to the gym and get my workout in. But yeah, he was, when I heard his recording of how his team was kind of in a way disregarded by Oklahoma, I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, dang, he's actually mad. And truth be told, you know, BV even praised him as a coach and talked about how well he's done in FCS ranks. He's got 2 national championships on 2 different teams, something that nobody else has done. So you know he can coach and he can make things happen. And so coming up to Temple, for him, the big thing is getting this Temple team turned around, which they, last couple of games, they look like a football team. Granted, they played UMass and Howard, one, you know, one, I think, is in the MAC. Yeah, UMass is in the MAC, and Howard is what? I think they're a G6. I think they're also a G6 right now, or FCS. They're FCS right now. Yeah. So excuse me on that. But I mean, they cooked 97 yards first 2 games, John. So they've been playing solid football. Evan Simon, the quarterback who took over last season, he's out there slinging it. So they look like a well-coached team right now. We should still beat them, though, right? Like this game should not be, the spread right now is dropped. It's around 21. It opened at 25. So the expectation is it may be some weather up there. I'm thinking, I don't know. It could end up being just a go in, win the game, and leave. But yeah, that coach was pretty ticked, and he was really talking about how the media was really disregarding them as a team.
Yeah, and to his credit, he did acknowledge that Brent Venables spoke highly of this Temple program going into the game and was complimentary and respectful towards the program. And I think that's the message Brent Venables is trying to get across to his team too, is like, respect your opponent, understand that they're coming to try to beat you and you want to have your best game. Yeah. I get where the coach is coming from. You know, even against Illinois State in week 1, we had the great James Jackson of Sooners Illustrated finally ask an Illinois State question. And it was like, 30 minutes into the press conference, and BB's like, hey, what, that must be a record or something. We made it 30 something minutes into the press conference, and we finally got a question about the opponent. I get where Keeler's coming from, man. It's like, you're going to not ask at all about this team that we're about to play.
I mean,
I get where he's coming from. At the same time, like, what do you expect the media to do?
It's kind of hard when you're coming off that Michigan game like that. And this is kind of the, as Nick Saban would say, the rat poison that teams have to keep and look out for, because truth be told, this team went out and they played a heck of a game, and now they're the talk of the nation. And BV said we're going to stay focused. We're going to do what we need to do. The players even said, saw an interview with David Stone after practice, and he said, we're road dogs in their mind. They're going out and playing in a hostile environment, and their goal is to go out there and win and get back home. And so, hey, they're playing it right. They're focused on this opponent. They're not looking ahead to Auburn like some people believe they are.
Right.
They're talking about all the right things right now. Mm-hmm. Their focal point is Temple. That's who they want to play, and that's who they want to beat. But I mean, it doesn't mean the media is going to actually go in there and think that same thing. Like I said, the spread is what it is. You're a 3-touchdown favorite. You should go out there, and the expectation is, regardless of how ugly of a game it is, you better win.
Yeah. Yeah, and I fully expect that they go and they win this game. Like, we'll have keys to the game. We'll have our predictions for the game for our Friday episode, but I don't really have much questions. Similar to the Illinois State game, and really like what we saw against Michigan week 2, even though it got tight, like it was a 7-0 ball game for most of the first half, and then it was 14-0. When it got to 14-0, I really felt like that was ball game.
Yeah.
Like 7-0, it felt like Oklahoma was dominating the game, even though it was 7-0. And when it got to 14-0, I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to catch up. Now they got the first, half, or the first play touchdown to start the second half. Like, oh, okay, maybe it's not quite over just yet. But then Oklahoma went and they got another score, and you're like, okay, it's for real over again. So I feel very confident in the product that Oklahoma is going to put out on the field against Temple. But is it going to be one of those where they get started slowly because they have to play an 11 a.m. game? This is going to be their first morning game, as opposed to playing a 5 o'clock and a 6:30, 7 o'clock kickoff time.
That is true.
How can that impact them after traveling up to the Northeast? Is that going to have an impact on the way that they start the game? We've seen this team start sluggish in road environments before. Can they overcome some of that and actually get off to a hot start? That's going to be the biggest key in this one.
I was going to say, that is probably the biggest key here. Is a lot of people have pointed out the Brent Venables struggle for the most part on the road, even though we did go to Auburn and win with a true freshman quarterback.
Or just you have a big win and then you have a little bit of a letdown. Even if you
have a letdown,
you don't perform well.
Yeah, 23 was a very great example of that. You have your big game against Texas, and you have a very lackluster performance against UCF, and then it just continues tickers down as you get injuries and you lose 2 straight games. So, yes. We understand, and that is, I get where fans would get in that mindset of, don't drop a dud in this game. That's the most important thing. Yeah. The good thing is, though, and I've said this before, the schedule is very much favorable for us. Yes, we have this road game to Temple. It's going to be tough, but we come right back home and we play Auburn at the crib. Mm-hmm. To me, that's a lot more favorable for a team because the losses we had in 23 were both on the road. They were back-to-back road games. We don't have that this year in theory because you have back-to-back road games in Tennessee, Alabama, but there's a massive bye week in between. So you have a reset point. This is pretty favorable. You play Auburn, you get a reset week. Kent State, then Texas. It's just that 5-game stretch where it's home away is where I think the biggest challenge is, but I think we'll be fine in that capacity.
Yeah, and I expect them to get off to a good start. I expect John Mateer to lead this team well. I expect the guys on the defensive side of the ball, the Dominic Williams, Jaden Jackson, Robert Spears-Jennings, Kip Lewis, Kobe, all those guys to make sure that Oklahoma puts their best foot forward each and every week, regardless of who the opponent is. And if you want to be a contender, and I even said this when I was talking with Dave Melandra of Philly Sports Talk, breaking down Temple and what they are and what we should expect to see out of this team this weekend. You can find that episode in your podcast channels and on YouTube. It was just talking about, if you want to be a contender, you have to take every team seriously, and you have to go put together 60-minute performances every single week, regardless of the team that you're playing against. Because like Brent Venables always likes to tell us, it's about us. It's not about somebody else. It's about how we prepare and how we perform. And so I think Oklahoma is going to show up. I think they're going to rewrite some of the narratives about this team after big games, and they're going to go put together a heck of a performance. It doesn't help Temple's chances by stirring the hornet's nest. And we'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.